I get that. I get that.
So, I don't know, the first one, why did we start the podcast?
Why did we start the podcast?
Well,
it's kind of simple, really. You put up
yes.
on the main page, you're like, what do I do? YouTube
yeah,
channel,
I said
vlogs,
I wanted to start a YouTube channel. Should I do gaming, vlogging, podcasting?
That's it.
And then you messaged me saying, if you want to do a podcast, I'll do it with you.
Bro, literally.
And that was it. That was
I think
a week ago.
That afternoon, it was pretty much a week ago.
Yeah.
And like that afternoon, we were already like making plans and all that
100%.
stuff.
We were
All
just
that
trying
sort.
to figure out a name.
Pretty much.
And we landed on Kings of the Round Table.
Yeah, well, we got a submissions from a few people. It was like the King's Table, and, we were like, oh, well, we can sort of pull ideas from other channels.
100%.
We just milked other channels, which is great.
Legit.
It's great,
We Googled the round... No, it was the King's Table.
The King's Table.
Oh, no, it was the Round Table.
Was it the Round Table?
The Round Table. There's already a channel called the Round Table, so...
Shout out to whoever you are.
Whoever those randoms are, stole that name. And then we decided on the Kings of the Round Table, like King Arthur.
Yep.
So whoever sits at this table, because it's round, we are equals.
It's true. But also, I feel like our greeting is, what's up, King? What on, King?
Yeah, it's kind of like... We call each other Kings a lot. Like, it's a bit douchebaggy, but that's...
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. But I feel like that's almost like a derivative at the same time, but it's almost like an accidental derivative.
Yeah.
It's one of those things. It works.
It's one of the things you start saying as a joke, and then
it just
takes
gets
over your life.
embedded in your life and your brain.
Like, it's like TikTok. When you first started watching TikTok as a joke, and now it's all we talk about.
Yeah, every 2 minutes. Shee. All right, let's hit us with a question. Hit us with another one.
Let's see what we got here. Here we go. What type of arse tastes best?
Type of arse? Are we talking voluptuous, or are we talking...
Yeah, well, I know the answer. It's small titty, big arse.
Yeah, that's
because
right.
the lack of titty, they have to up the arse game.
That's true.
That's true.
You can't have big tits and a small arse.
That's right.
You like it's at end it, Chief. I'm sorry, but
a big arse can make up for no tits, but big tits can't make up for no arse.
Yeah, that's just the common rule.
Sorry, ladies, but that's it.
If the homies don't know that rule, now you do. Apply that.
That's right. Live by it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely, I agree on that one.
Next one, barbell versus dumbbell.
Exercise, it varies.
It does.
It varies. You want to hit your compounds.
Especially depending on what you're training.
That's true.
Like,
if you
chest day, leg day, it's going to be different.
I guess if you're going for overall hypertrophy, you want to do your compounds and you want them to be like barbell, your back squat.
But
bench,
at the end of the day,
deadlift.
like when it comes down to say bodybuilding, where it's a lot more,
muscle, symmetry.
You want to be hitting them evenly.
Absolutely.
So with dumbbells, each doing the same amount of work.
Yeah.
Where barbell, one side can do a little bit extra than the other.
Yeah, that's understandable. On the other hand, I do certain exercises with a barbell rather than a dumbbell, and I seem to feel it more.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if it's just because my grip's equal. I got no idea, but yeah, it just depends on what you're training for and what you want to get out of it.
Yeah, it is hard.
Absolutely. I got a question for you. This is a good one. My mate Aaron, I don't know if you know him, runs a personal training business. Shout out to you, Aaron. He said, links to the podcast, please. Funny he asked. We haven't set that up yet. We'll get to it.
This is
by the time this goes out, this is being pre-recorded. We'll have our YouTube channel up. We'll link it. You'll find it on our social media page. But he said, where do you think the fitness industry is heading in 5 to 10 years' time?
5 to 10 years.
That's a big one.
It's a very big one.
That's a good question because lots is happening.
It is, because at the moment, fitness industry is dominated by social media.
Absolutely.
That's all it is.
Absolutely.
And whether it's going to maintain that course, I don't know.
Look, there's a lot of people lifting for clout.
Yes.
There's a lot of people hurting themselves for clout.
Larry Wheels,
yeah. Yes, absolutely. But as you said, it's very social media heavy.
Yeah.
Like, if you're not posting sick lifts, if you're not posting sick physiques, just crazy.
Or just pictures of your ass.
Well, that. One or the other, I feel like it's going to be very social media based, even more than what it is now.
Yes, and it's going to be it's difficult because you just don't know what's going to happen with the social media platforms in the coming years.
Literally. So if you think about it, you go back to Facebook and Instagram 5 years ago, we wouldn't even be able I can't even fathom what it used to look like.
Yeah,
it was just absolute trash.
It was purely messaging. That's all it was.
Yeah, it was just like there was no commenting on photos. It was literally just liking and I think sending messages to people.
Yeah.
I think that's genuinely all it was. And obviously posting photos. But like, if you go 5 years in the future, social media might not even be a thing.
100%. Because with government regulations, you don't know.
Well,
some governments ban it. Like America wanted to ban TikTok.
Yeah.
You just don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, I don't know. You've had, obviously, Hafthor breaking the world record. That was online. That was online.
That wasn't in a comp
You've
or
got
anything.
the recent pec tear by Ryan Crowley on his incline bench.
Yep.
Everyone would have seen that. Yep. Disgusting. Absolutely vile.
It was not ideal.
You've
to
also
watch.
got all these stupid these boxing fights that all these TikTokers are doing. All that
everyone
sort of stuff.
challenging each other.
Yeah, like it's all social media heavy.
100%. At the end of the day, a lot of it is about money. They just want the money.
Absolutely. And I think it's going to be very online based when it comes to competitions, Olympias, USAPL, shit like that, because they can only have so many people in a certain area at that one time.
That as well, and then because of COVID as well.
Exactly.
All of it went online for that
Literally
12 months.
Like the Olympia was streamed, like the stage, like the auditorium or whatever you want to call it. There wasn't many people in there, so I've been told they've cancelled the Arnold here in Australia.
Yep.
And it's now like some other Fit Expo, and it's a whole lot smaller, and they've condensed it because of this whole.
Yep.
But like they live stream all these events. And
Yes. So back to the question: in 5 to 10 years, if things keep going the way they're going, I dare say it will be even more social media based.
Yeah, we might not even have to buy tickets.
Yeah, legit.
Like
or you may have to buy tickets just to get the link
the
to
online
the
premiere
stream.
and all that stuff. Yeah. Well, what happens if we twist the question a little bit? Competition-wise, your Chris Bumsteads, your Big Rammies, your Russ Swallows, your John Hack, all that stuff. What do you think's going to happen with those sort of guys and that sort of stuff? Them evolving in 5-10 years time. What do you?
As in their performances.
Yeah. Yeah, literally.
Chris Bumstead, to start with, I think.
Daddy Sid Mom.
Legit. He, obviously, he's at the sort of in his prime at the moment.
Absolutely.
So whether he reigns Olympia for the next
2-3 years plus,
you don't know, or if he does get defeated and wants to have a comeback, like Jay Cutler did.
Like Phil Heath did.
Yep.
Look, I don't know. I really don't know because
It's hard though, because with strength sports and all that, you're at your peak for a very finite amount of time.
Absolutely.
And then depending on what you do during that time will depend how it pans out afterwards.
Yeah.
Take Ronnie Coleman, for example. He
been
absolutely
so much
just abused it at his peak, which was fine. That's what
He's
he
left
wanted to
himself
do.
a legacy. Look at him.
Yep.
Everyone knows who Ronnie Coleman is. You don't have to do bodybuilding to know who Ronnie Coleman is.
Yeah, and now
he's bent the.
He's ruined.
he's not
He's
in
not
good
having
shape.
a good time.
He is not in good shape. No, absolutely. So yeah, I can understand. Mate, we might. Yeah, I don't know.
And then on the other side of powerlifting, say your John Hack and all that, they're not. It's not as bad, unless they suffer a big injury under a lot of weight.
Yeah.
Then that could fuck them up.
Yeah.
But you see people like Eddie Cohen and all that, all the retired powerlifters. They're still, getting around, having a good time, still training. Yeah. Obviously not to the standard they were.
No, but they're still having a good time getting around.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, so social media heavy, very
social media heavy, which is it does have its pros and cons, obviously.
I guess, yeah.
Up and coming lifters get a lot more exposure that way.
Yep.
They don't have to, win the Olympia to, be
get all this
recognised.
exposure. There's lead ups to, and there's shows before, and then obviously there's comps before, and all sorts of stuff.
100%.
So, yeah.
No, it'd be very interesting as well, because we're 20, we're in that 20-year mark. So the next 5 to 10 years is, that prime time in our life. So we'll be a part of it. We'll see what's happening.
Yeah, it'll be good.
Who knows? Maybe in 5 years the podcast will still be going.
That's a good question though, because you just don't know.
You don't know.
You just don't know. What? Hit us with another question.
So this one's directed at me.
Right.
It was what inspired you to create the meme page?
What did inspire you to create the meme page?
So,
go into depth with this one.
Story
Everyone
time.
wants to know.
Everyone wants
to know. Everyone wants to know the success.
So it was 2018. I was working as a fitter. I was an apprentice fitter. And I knew I wanted to get into the fitness industry, afterwards. And I didn't want to, just be another regular PT or whatever. And pretty much I was like, okay. So you see this guy like Bradley Martin. He opened his own gym.
Yep.
And it's been so successful because he had this huge following already.
Absolutely.
And I was like, all right, so I need to develop a following.
Yep.
And I didn't want to, obviously I didn't have the most impressive physique. I wasn't crazy strong. So I was like, I need to use something to develop a following.
Gain
and
some form of leverage.
Exactly. Which I can then promote other things, such as a podcast.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
And then, like, I was scrolling through Instagram, obviously, and I followed a lot of meme pages at the time.
As you do.
And I got sick of seeing the same old memes.
Yep.
Back, like, just being reposted.
Yep.
And I was like, shit, I could do this.
Yep.
Like, fuck, it's not that hard.
Yeah, of course.
So I started the meme page in 2018. I think it was like July. And I was like, all right. And then I started posting memes. And my thing was every meme I post would be my own. It'd be original.
Yep.
That was the one thing I had over everyone else.
Yeah, of course.
But starting out, they were all bare bones, like real basic. It was when you skip leg day, and it was a guy skiing.
It's a guy
legs.
like skiing. Hey, you got to start somewhere.
It was just shit.
You got to start somewhere.
So after the first like 100 posts, I weeded out the real basic ones and
Yeah.
had to start getting creative.
Yep.
And like the first year, I wasn't really active on it. It was just like a meme every now and then. Because obviously, you know, you're not getting much exposure. You don't have the motivation to do it.
No, yeah, I can understand that. You just got to keep grinding and grinding until it just gains traction.
And then it was 2020
Yeah.
when COVID hit and our gyms closed. So I had nothing else to do but make memes. And
Yep.
COVID made for great meme material. So I was like, all right. And I just started making bulk memes about that. And that's when it really took off. But, you know, it took me, I've got it written down on my phone. It's like 600 memes before I hit 1,000 followers.
Oh, so you marked it down as like an accolade.
I marked them
almost.
down. And then it took me, I think I just hit over 1,000 memes to hit 10,000 followers. And it's just snowballed from there.
Yeah,
so I
okay.
just recently posted my 2,000th meme, and
Yeah.
I'm on almost 75k.
75k, that's pretty
So
good.
it's
That's
just
pretty
a
good.
snowball effect. Like, you know, the bigger
Yeah.
you get, the quicker you grow.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, well, not to mention you being consistent as
Yeah,
well.
so that's another thing. Like, the bigger you get, the easier it is to be consistent, because, you know, you're getting the
All
engagement.
these ideas and
100%.
you know, you're getting comments and you can sort of like use that comment as like a form of, you know, meme. You could just meme a comment if you really
100%.
freaking
People
wanted to.
will say something like, I'll post a meme, and they'll be like, oh, more like this. And then I'll be like, oh, well, that's a future meme right there.
Well, in a week's time, I'll put something
Yeah,
like that.
post something like that.
You can milk it, I guess.
You can, which you don't really want to do because people
No.
pick up on that.
And they go, oh, you're just reposting the same memes.
Yeah,
and then
100%.
come across the dilemma you come across before you started the
Yeah.
the page, sorry. So, yeah, I can understand that.
100%. But yeah, like, so I've had it for 3 years now and still going strong.
It's still going
And
strong.
it was just, it's funny because like when I first started it, I was like, oh, yep, I want to build a following.
Yeah, absolutely.
And now the following is actually being built.
Being-
I'm like, oh
yeah.
shit, all right, what am I going to do now?
Not to mention, though, you'd like, everyone knows, you know, oh, you're the meme guy.
Yeah, so
You're the
that's-
meme guy.
That's another thing that also keeps me like consistent, is when someone will be like, just be like, oh, aren't you the guy that runs the meme page?
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, that's
Well,
me.
you had one today. You had one a couple of days ago as well.
Yeah.
Like, you know, people come in and, oh, are you Jack?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Jack
100%.
memes. Oh, I
Yeah.
love your memes, bro. You know, yeah.
It's great.
Will it get old?
Will it get old?
Will it get old?
I don't- it's
Posting,
hard,
The whole
like,
being the meme guy. Will
think-
you have other bots, other people making memes for you when it grows big enough? Like, what?
I don't, like, right now, and if I'm talking to my future self, don't sell out.
Yeah.
Keep making them, because I like to think it's my anchor. Like, no matter what happens, it'll always be the one thing I keep doing.
Uh-huh.
So, you know, whether this podcast takes off or we
Yeah.
start doing other ventures,
Yeah.
as long as I keep posting the memes, that'll be the one thing that keeps me grounded.
Yeah.
So I'll always be, I can remember what started
You'll be
it all.
motivated. You remember what started it all and why you
100%.
started.
And also, because when I started it, I was like, all right, these are all my memes. This is what I'm doing.
Yep.
So, like, I want to be in full control of it. So, you know, if it ever gets to, like, you know, 500,000 plus, it's still me. It's still me doing
of
it.
course. Damn.
But it's crazy to think
You got that
how far it's
drive.
come. Yeah.
You got that drive, bro. Like you've been in 3 years. Some people, you know, do things for
it's-
shorter periods of time, and like they just go, "Oh, it didn't gain traction. I'm not popular."
Legit, it's funny you say
overnight.
that.
Like,
Within the 3 years that I've been doing it, there's been that many gym meme pages that have popped up and disappeared
Yeah.
because they just haven't taken off
they just
quick
don't
enough.
take off. Yep.
Like, it took me, you know, 2 years to hit 10,000 followers.
Yeah.
And then within that third year, it's just blown up.
It's just kept
So you just gotta keep at
consistent
it.
and growing and growing. Stonks, just straight
Legit,
stonks.
it's just consistency and time.
Yeah.
That's all it takes.
Absolutely.
So you got to have patience,
Yep.
which again is why you got to enjoy it. Like, if you don't enjoy it,
course.
don't do it.
Well, you're
Simple
not
as
going
that.
to do it if it's like you sort of base your work life off it. You know.
Yeah, 100%. Well,
Some people are given the choice to pick a job they want to do, obviously.
Yeah.
And, you know, they'll obviously pick the job they want to do because if you're not working in a place where you want to work, you're going to hate it.
100%.
And same
is
thing
what I
applies,
did,
you know? Well, yeah, pretty
I
much.
was working where I didn't like it, And then I was lucky enough to be offered the opportunity to work in a gym, and I was like, all right, sweet, let's do
Absolutely.
it. Let's go for it.
That's your foot in the fitness door.
Straight in, and then, ever since then, the meme page, if anything, has grown more because I've just had a lot more ideas.
Absolutely. Well, you can just watch the memes.
I'll just watch them.
out from the reception area. Like, it is what it is.
It's great. What else you got?
I've got one. What are your thoughts on the current state of bodybuilding in terms of the Mr. Olympia and the classic era? So, now versus then, what's...
Oh, well...
This is a big topic.
It's huge.
Yeah.
It's funny because it's back in the classic era. It was what it was. No worries.
Absolutely.
And then now here, recently, it's been a lot more
Mass
size.
is what they want.
But ever since the introduction of the classic physique, I feel like a lot more people are leaning towards that because it's more achievable per se.
It's achievable for everyone, and you take less risks, I feel.
100%. Like, you've got these massive, mass monsters.
Don't get me wrong. These guys are big.
Yeah, classic physique, they've still got size.
They are big, like classic physique, and then you get, obviously, your mass monsters, your open competitors. They're absolutely huge.
They're next level. But it's with classic physique, they've got the size, but they've also got the symmetry to back it up.
Absolutely. And I think that's kind of what everyone aims for. Like, you start weightlifting, whether it be powerlifting, bodybuilding, strongman even, like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Everyone knows who Arnold is.
100%.
Everyone knows who Arnold is. Everyone knows pumping iron, that sort of stuff. When you get into those, I don't know if you were similar or not, but when I first got into, all this sort of stuff, pumping iron, his encyclopedia of lifting, like, everyone reads it, everyone watches it, everyone knows the golden era.
Legit. See, it's funny, when I first started lifting, like, I started and it was fine, it was good.
Yep.
But obviously you start losing motivation, and you're like,
Absolutely.
So I did what any, teenager do. Into YouTube,
Gym motivation.
Gym motivation training. Yep. First one that popped up, Machiavelli Motivation.
Bingo.
And he did a lot back then when I looked it up, it was all bodybuilding mass monsters.
Yeah, of course.
And I was like, oh yeah, no worries. Like, they were good motivational videos, but I didn't want to look like that. That was the one thing that sort of deterred me. I was like, all right, no worries. And I kept training, and eventually came across Callum Von Moga. And that was what I was like,
Cal.
that's the physique I
Big
want.
Cal.
That is what I want.
We love Big
Which
Cal.
he is classic physique.
Absolutely is. Absolutely is. He's had his setbacks. Yeah. 2016, before 2016, he was big, but he had the lines, he had the symmetry, he had the small waist, the big shoulders.
Even his vascularity. It was crazy.
Absolutely. He's still got it to this day. I don't know what he's running.
Legit. But yeah, it's crazy because I came across the Mad Desire video. The one that got him out in the limelight.
I remember talking to you about this. I'd never watched this film until, say, 2 months ago.
Yep.
And now I know.
Legit. Like,
I know.
I think everyone who is into the gym has to watch it once. Like,
absolutely.
It's like pumping iron. You just got to watch it.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. It's, it really shows that you can be nobody and become somebody within a click of a finger.
Especially with social media has
Absolutely.
exaggerated that fact.
Absolutely.
You make one viral video and you pretty much, that just gets it rolling.
Pretty much. But going back to the question, in terms of your thoughts on, the physiques now and the physiques then, what are your preferences? What do you like? What do you hate? Pros and cons. Give us...
I definitely prefer, the more classic era, golden era.
Who doesn't want big shoulders and a tight waist? Come on.
100%. Now, with, the recent, mass monsters...
Yeah, of course.
That's still a crazy, it's incredible what they've achieved.
Absolutely.
But like I said, ever since the introduction of the classic physique, the industry is starting to steer more that way.
Absolutely. Because you go on Instagram. Instagram is probably the best platform for all of this because, you're looking for beautiful, pretty photos. If you've got this physique that people could admire, like big biceps, big shoulders, big chest, abs, tight waist, big legs, most people will go, oh, that's pretty attractive. Whereas you get like Ronnie Coleman or like an Ian Valier or like a big Rami, people see it and go, oh, I don't want to be like that. Like, if they're not in the fitness industry and they don't understand it, they go, oh, what is that?
Yeah. So to answer the question, I definitely think it's, I prefer that older era.
Yeah.
We are where we are now, which is, your mass monsters, but it's starting to steer towards that.
Absolutely. Those lines, I don't know. I'm a love classic physique.
Yeah.
If you know me, I love Chris Bumstead. I love the classic physique because it's just beautiful.
And it's a lot harder as well because you've got the politics in bodybuilding.
Yeah,
where you've got the mass monsters, men's open.
Yep.
And sometimes you got someone who's like Sean Roden who won and he wasn't the biggest on stage. He was just more symmetrical.
He was just conditioned and
when
symmetrical.
you know,
and he just,
10 years, like the 10 years prior to that, it was always based on size.
based on size,
And
Ronnie, Jay, Dexter,
Yeah,
all those guys.
and then just this random Olympia, they're like, oh, you know what, we like that symmetry.
We
better.
like that guy.
So
Like,
it's always.
I don't know.
depending
I don't know a lot because obviously I was 12, younger than that. We were both younger than that, so we obviously weren't into it then.
Yeah.
But I don't know if there was like a change of judging criteria or something. I'm not sure.
Or what the go there is, but
Yeah, like the classic physique is just way more appealing. It's way more achievable because the size isn't, you know, it's easier to obtain, I guess.
yeah, 100%.
You know, it's easier to obtain.
A lot more achievable.
Like that amount of muscle that's not too detrimental to your life because you think about it, classic physique, they're all on gear, right?
Definitely.
Open, they're all on gear, but times like 400.
Times 400, and also, I don't know like how much they're eating compared to them, but it must be a lot more to maintain that size.
It'd have to be a lot because I've watched, you watch your fair share of, you know, your muscle and strength videos where you've got like, full day of eating, day in the life, all that stuff. They're eating like 5,000 calories in their off season.
100%.
And that's just a classic physique competitor.
And then like you've also got the bodybuilders that do like a filthy bulk.
Oh,
Where
absolutely.
It's
It's
not
like
even
8+
clean
thousand
food.
calories.
It's just
disgusting
you know,
food, and they
it's
feel like
fast
shit
food,
the
and they
day
just
after.
inhale it.
Yeah,
Just to
absolutely.
put on size.
Absolutely. The classic physique is just way more appealing, and it's just the way social media is going. But at the same time, I love the open because these guys are huge. These guys are putting on muscle like you wouldn't believe
It's
it.
awesome to look at.
They're conditioned. They move a lot of weight, and for reps too.
Yeah.
And it's very impressive.
They're
So-
bodybuilders and they're still strong as fuck. Like,
Absolutely, like
it's awesome.
But at the same time, when you say, I'm into bodybuilding, people either go big, massive, or the classic physique, Arnold
It does,
Schwarzenegger.
yeah.
Like it just crosses their mind.
It does have that stigma to it.
But yeah, I do prefer the classic look because it's a little more obtainable, I guess.
100%.
I don't know. I just prefer the small waist, big shoulders. Don't get me wrong; they're still trying to go for that in the open.
Yeah,
you
as
know.
much as they like, it's still got to be proportionate
It's
in a
just
way.
hard.
But it's
just
like,
hard.
this bloke has bigger biceps, therefore he's upper rank.
But I also like the poses they all do. You know, like I prefer the classic poses.
Yeah.
You know, like
It's got a bit more character to it.
it's quoted from Pumping Iron. It's like dancing.
Yeah.
You know, you got to have a rhythm to your posing routine, all that sort of stuff. I much prefer it. It's just it's more aesthetic, and that's just kind of the way. It's mass aesthetics. That's the
It
word
is.
for it.
And then you got someone like Kai Green who tries to bring that into the
Yeah.
open with all his like performances.
Absolutely. It just doesn't work.
And it doesn't. Like,
They look a
it
little
looks
too
awkward.
clumsy and awkward.
It does.
I agree. Hit us with another question. What do you
We'll try and
got?
skew it away from something else actually.
Okay. Let's
Away from bodybuilding, see what else we got.
Yeah. Let's get
I've
saucy.
Let's get saucy.
Let's get saucy with this one, shall we?
I've got a lot of
I'm
arse
seeing a
eating
lot
ones.
of arse eating
Oh, here we go.
pictures. Questions, sorry.
Heartbreak.
That's it?
That's it. It just says heartbreak. So how does that affect training, I guess?
Heartbreak. How does it affect? It affects everything.
It does. It affects everything. And it can either go one way or the other.
You're either going to pull 4 or 5 plates on the
Legit.
deadlift, or you're just going to be.
your training's
skinny
either
and
going to
just-
shoot through the roof
Yeah.
or you're going to fall off the wagon. Like,
Yeah, absolutely.
You're just going to go to shit.
Absolutely, but I feel like I'm not one to lift with my emotions, right?
Yeah,
I
it's
don't
more
use my emotions
with
to
purpose.
lift. I don't go, that guy, you know, or whoever that may be. I don't.
This motherfucker.
Yeah, like I don't get riled up just
Yeah.
to lift these weights. Like you grunt and stuff, but that's
Yeah.
kind of get yourself psyched up.
Yeah, you know,
But I feel heartbreak can lead to a lot of motivation.
it can. It's a crazy motivational tool. Like, I've made
can-
many memes about it where it's, you know, coffee, pre-workout, and then heartbreak is the
Yeah,
top
absolutely.
motivation
Yeah,
and
that's-
energy.
Has a freaking lily.
But like, because I'm a power lifter, we have to lift with, like, we use a lot of aggression to move
Absolutely.
big weights. Like,
absolutely, you
you know,
got to
going into a PR, you're thinking of like, this bitch broke my heart, fucking I'll show her.
Yeah, literally. Like you can't do what I do and just go, all right, my set, let's go.
Yeah.
Pick it up and start moving it.
It
You've
gets
got to
crazy,
channel
man.
everything.
When you get to those top weights, you know, of your max, how much your mental, you know, will affect that. Like,
Anything and everything can affect it.
Yeah.
Well, you think about it. I don't know much, and we'll have to get the big dog Ash to speak about it because he knows a lot more than we do, and he's a little bit smarter with it all. But
Yeah.
I feel like,
he's a lot more well spoken.
yeah, that too. I feel like when you're thinking about those sort of lifts, that one wrong thought can change that whole
Okay.
lift, that whole set. I feel
100%.
Yeah, but a heartbreak can be used as motivation, honestly.
Yes.
And as you said, you're either going to fall off the wagon or you're just going to PR
Legit.
like fucking crazy.
And like, to quote, I think it was Dan Green who said it. It was like, if you're going into a lift and you don't 100% think you're going to lift it, you're not
lifting it.
It's not leaving the floor.
It's not moving.
Like, you need to believe that that's going up.
Yep.
Yeah, there's no other option.
Yeah. I feel like sometimes they happen at the right time.
They do.
Like, we'll get into it on another podcast as to why, or even later in the podcast, as to why we started and what sort of, but similar protocol, like, I had an issue, I was like, fuck this shit.
Yeah.
Fuck this shit, I'm getting fucking massive.
Yeah.
Like, I'm fucking sick of this shit, And I used that every day as motivation.
Yeah.
Not so much to lift heavy weights, because I said I'm not an emotional lifter, but I used that to fuel my fire.
Yeah, it's like that.
Makes sense.
When you wake up, you're eating your meal or whatever, and you're like, oh, I don't really feel like training today. And it's that one thought that'd be like, you know what, I'm
You
going to
got
go
that voice
train.
in your head that's like, bro, you got to do it.
So you remember why you did this?
Yeah, exactly.
That's why we're
you
going to
kind
go
of
do it.
channel back, like if you can picture going back in a thoughts tunnel.
Yeah.
And it hits you. Ding.
It's that one spot you're like, all right.
You're right. All right,
better
I'm
go.
gonna do it. Let's do it. Yeah. No, heartbreak it's a big thing in lifting. I feel because I don't know if obviously you're on TikTok, you're posting all that stuff. You see a lot of TikToks. It's like, oh, this girl broke my heart 6 months ago. Now look where I am.
Yeah,
and this
and this
guy's
is
pulling like
massive.
6 plates and he's fucking huge. Like sometimes it happens for the best.
It does.
And sometimes it's not even just to put on size. Sometimes it's mental health. Like, I know a few people that have been in absolutely detrimental relationships where it just destroys them.
Yeah.
They get out of the relationship. I'm like, oh, come to the gym. It's
Yeah,
the greatest thing.
because they've got all this time now.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
Like,
Come to the gym. Okay, they may not want to get big. I'm like, just do it. There's a science behind it.
well, isn't that crazy how it's like, when I first started training, my goal wasn't to get big and huge.
No, me
but
either.
the more you train, the more your goals change. The more your mindset
literally.
changes around it.
Yeah, literally. I just wanted to, be fit.
All these like Mr. Olympias, they never started out going, I'm going to be Mr. Olympia.
Well, not most of them anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, they're always like, I just wanted to, put on a little bit of size.
Yeah, people will be, I trained for sport and, I wasn't very good at sport, but I was good at this lifting. And so I took up this and then they just blew up over years.
Legit. And it's like, they start lifting, they're like, I'm getting pretty big. I want to be the best at this.
Absolutely.
And then it just takes off from there.
Yeah. No, heartbreak's a good one.
It is.
I mean, it's terrible, but it's a good one.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Like, we're just about to enter our 20s. Like, heartbreak hasn't been a massive part.
Not really, no. I've had a few close calls, but yeah, pretty much. It is what it is. It is what it is.
Damn. Need some better questions.
You know what? Now because I brought it up. Why? What got you into lifting? We'll just talk about it now. We may as well.
What got me into lifting?
We may as well. And we can, yeah.
It was back in 2015.
What started it? Why? How?
I was 15 years old.
Yep.
And I was riding AFL, like playing footy.
Oh yeah, football.
And like I was like real skinny and like scrawny. And I was like quick. That was my game. Like I would just get the ball and run.
Yep.
But I couldn't tackle and take a tackle. So I was like, all right, I want to put on a bit of size.
Yep.
And it was funny because like that Christmas, my mum was like, oh, well, do you want some weights and like a weight bench? And I'm like, yeah, let's do it.
Absolutely.
Anyway, got that, and it was the start of the Christmas holidays.
Yeah.
And got that, started like set it all up, and that. It was like one of those multi gyms. So it's got the press and like the lat pull down and all that.
Yep.
It was one of them, and I was like went ham on it for 6
It's like a
weeks.
Facebook marketplace.
Legit.
$500.
It was fantastic. It was had the speaker up in the shed, fucking just going at it.
Yeah.
And then it was like after the 6 weeks, get back to school. And like obviously it dropped off a little bit, like the motivation, because it was back to school, new routine.
Yeah, whatever.
And then eventually I got back into it and just really started to build up a home gym. And, had like a bench, a squat rack, all those little things. Yep. It was grouse. And then did that for a couple of years. And then eventually I joined World Gym when I turned 17 and could drive.
Yep.
I was like, cool, I'll join National Gym.
Oh, yeah.
Joined World Gym. And then that was the last year I played football because I was starting to put on a lot of size and I was like, fuck, I just want to do this. I don't want to play footy
can't be
anymore.
bothered running. You gotta
100%.
stuff that shit. Yeah.
I was like legit getting real bad shin splints, I think, because I was getting heavy.
Yeah.
My body was like, what are you doing to me?
Like, oh, stop it. Yeah. Yep.
But yeah, that's pretty much what did it for me.
That's what did it for you. Were you always powerlifting? Were you just like hypertrophy, let's do this, Arnold Schwarzenegger?
I just started to legit put on size. And, you start putting on size and you realise, the shape of everything. You're like, I want to shape this, and you're doing certain things to look a certain way. Yeah. And then I was in here one night, like deadlifting, and it was actually like, I gained strength quite quickly, and I didn't realise how strong I was for the age I was.
Yeah.
And I had people saying to me, like, oh man, you should do a comp. Like,
Yeah.
there was a local powerlifting comp here. They should do that. And I didn't really think about it.
Was that at Super Shape?
It was at Super Shape.
It was a Super Shape.
It was a week out from Super Shape, and I was like, fuck it, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
And went in, signed up. And then he's like, oh, you need a suit. I'm like, shit. So I got online, ordered a powerlifting suit, like just this fucking cheap one. I was like, no worries. Did that and competed, and you get the bug. Like, you get the bug for it. You're like, fuck, I want to do that again. Because it's just such an awesome atmosphere.
Yeah,
lifting.
Of course. Everyone just wants to see you pull it. No one wants to see you fail.
Yeah, because you go in with that mindset. You're like, I ain't failing this.
Yeah, literally.
And yeah, so then ever since then, you know, I've made a few mates along the way, and we're all powerlifting together, and
Of course.
here I am
Here you are today.
with a podcast.
With a podcast, a meme page. And not to mention, you've won some competitions.
Yeah, won a few competitions along the way, which is always good. But
That's always good. That's nice. We like that.
what about you?
What about me? I started when I was, about 15.
About 15?
Yeah, I was just after my 15th birthday, I believe. I signed up to our local gym, Genesis. Signed up. I was playing basketball, and it was a similar situation. You know, you couldn't take your tackles. Well, I couldn't take body shots.
Yeah,
like, people would run into you, and I'd go flying across the court. You've seen photos. Skinny little 55 kilo little skeleton looking kid, you know, with a basketball dream, going nowhere.
It's hard in Australia with basketball.
Absolutely it is. I feel like you've got to be more metro for that sort of sport.
And also, like, because it's a lot more dominated in America.
Absolutely. It is hard to get into it. I wasn't very good, but, you know, you like to think you are.
That's all right.
So I was, you know, me and my mates were doing, like, plyometric training, stuff like that, you know, resistance training with bands and stuff, jumping, box jumps.
Really explosive stuff.
Yeah, absolutely, all that plyometric stuff. And I'm like, oh, well, cool, I can jump. But my jump wasn't crazy, but, like, I was 15, I could touch the ring. I'm like, sweet. Yeah. Sweet, whatever.
And you're
I'm
not overly tall either.
No, I'm not. I'm 5'11", ladies.
Whoa, calm down, ladies.
I was like, look, I can jump, whatever, but I'm not strong. Yeah. I really wasn't strong. I was just a little scrawny kid. You know, I'm like, look, I'll try a few movements. I went and did like a consult with one of the personal trainers at Genesis. I'm like, look, I just want to be stronger. There was no intention for size. There was no intention for a certain look. I just wanted to be stronger.
Yep.
Cool. They sent me up with a program. I followed that for about 6 months. You know, making sure the form was tight and all that sort of stuff, because I knew there was like a gym fuckery, like make fun of these guys doing shit form. So I spent like 6+ months just on form, make sure shit was tidy. I started seeing results. I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. And I spent like the next year or so eating a bit more. Because, you know, you would watch those Machiavelli motivational videos and they're just like, eat. I'm like, well, if they're eating and getting big, I'm already training. I just got to eat. Clearly, that's my issue.
So that's the missing link.
That's clearly the missing link. So I started eating more, training. I was getting stronger at basketball, like with basketball, and like, you know, I was able to take a few hits without going, oh, what the fuck, you know. And then I just stopped playing basketball. I just lost interest. I just lost interest. Like, I still watch it and I still follow it to a little bit, but I just lost interest. I'm like, I don't really have time for sport. You know, I mean, I started year 10 or year 11, whatever. I'm just like, you know, I don't really have time for it. I'm studying.
Yeah. So did gym take over from that, or was it more school work?
It was school that started it, right? Yeah. And I was more focused on that. I'm like, yeah, cool. Because my original, I wanted to be a school teacher.
Yeah.
I'm like, this ATAR's got to be banging. Like, I gotta get on this. I gotta be getting on this shit. Because I didn't really know what the ATAR score had to be. I'm like, school teacher, they're smart. I have to be maximum ATAR.
Surely I'd have to be the top to teach people lower than me.
Yeah, pretty much, literally. So school took over for a little bit, and then, you know, you get to that age where you start hanging out with girls and do all that sort of stuff. And I was in a relationship for like 12+ months at the time. Like, that's a big relationship for a 16-year-old.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, fuck that shit. It was toxic. It was fucked.
12 months.
Yeah, it was. I got toxic towards the end.
Well, to be fair, I was in a relationship around that age for like 8-10 months.
Yeah, exactly.
Last relationship I had. Like 6 years ago.
And obviously that resulted in a heartbreak because, you know, first love, fuck, you know how it goes.
100%.
Every bloke knows how it goes.
We all know too well.
Yep. I was like, nah, look, I'm not playing sport. I'll just get in the gym. I'll just crush it. And that evolved into, you know, put on a bit of size. I'm like, oh, this is cool. Oh, I can see, you know, I got a vein coming through my shoulder. I'm looking a little lean today. Yeah, literally. Like, I got a little vein in my shoulder. I'm like, oh, this is sick. This is cool. Then I got more into bodybuilding, and I watched Pumping Iron for the first time with my mate. Mm-hmm. My mate Bryce, he's like, bro, check this movie out. It was on Netflix.
Mate, you gotta watch this movie.
I watched it. I'm like, this is it.
It was all over.
This is all I need. This is all I need. This is all I need. So, you know, I started doing more of the compounds and stuff, like your benches and your squats and your deadlifts, etc. And it's just evolved from there, I guess. And obviously you got these big guys. What's his name? I can't think of it. You got Chris Bumstead. You've got like your Wesley Vissers, Terence Ruffin. That's who. You know, those sort of guys are like super chiseled.
I reckon Wesley is extremely underrated.
He is. His physique, it's missing something, but I don't know what it's missing.
Yeah, it's almost square, isn't it? Like,
his torso is just
it's legit.
It's a literal square.
But
I don't know what I think it's his waist.
It's a square, and then the lats do come out still.
They do.
They're like separate. Like you can clearly see the line.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then I think it might be the waist because it doesn't taper in.
It doesn't taper. It's kind of just like there's his lats, and then it just goes down from there. It doesn't there's no V taper of that form. I think that's what he's missing. But you know, you see those guys, you go, wow. Like, I could be like that.
Legit, like, that's a human. That's achievable.
That's achievable. Obviously, there's a lot of steps you got to take to get there, but that's achievable. So, you know, I just kept pushing and pushing and pushing. I've fallen in love more and more, and then the use of social media. Me posting, you know, me seeing all these things, you know, you got people just uploading videos, day in the lives, you know, Callum Bodmoga. I failed year 11 English because of Callum Bodmoga. Me and my mate Blake used to watch his videos in every class, and I failed year 11 English because I fell in love with bodybuilding.
Legit,
what I wanted to do.
His videos before all the injuries and that were
when he was training in Golds, yeah.
Training in Golds, had Thompson as like his, you know, videographer.
His cameraman and his music in the background. Like, I still listen to Thompson now. I'll flick it on. Whatever, it's good.
That was
awesome. It's kind of like nostalgic. I'm like, yeah, Calvin Moga, you know, this is why I started. Like,
back then, that was like the life you'd like. I want that life.
I want to eat, sleep, train.
He was legit just
living. And he's making money off it.
Living in that little apartment on the beach.
Yep.
Training at Golds and just like fucking around.
And you watch Pumping Iron, and it literally talks about eat, sleep, train.
Yep.
Go to the beach during the day, train some more, eat, sleep, train, etc.
Because like you're watching this, you're like, how are they making money? Like, where's the money coming from?
Yeah, literally. Like,
obviously, you learn more about it and how YouTube pays and all that stuff.
But you think about also like back in the 70s and how did they make money like off just bodybuilding? Like, I don't know if it was sponsorships. I got like,
well, because like I've read Arnold's biography.
Yeah.
And he's talking about how like him and Franco were bricklayers.
Yeah.
And like just
like,
labourers.
They work construction during the day and then they train like another 5 hours.
Legit,
and it's
train
like,
in the morning. Work,
ridiculous.
Train again, and then Arnold was going to night school to learn English and all that, which was mental.
Like, that's the grind.
And he said the most sleep he would get was 6 hours.
Yeah,
that was it.
I can't function on 6 hours of sleep. I can, but I'm a very terrible human.
I can do 6 hours, probably 2 days in a row, and then I'm fucked. Like, I'm down.
Hit a wall. Yes, that's it. But yeah, like, I was a scrawny kid, played sport, decided sport wasn't for me, focused on school, then I found the world of bodybuilding. And I'm like, I got a heartbreak. And then I was like, fuck it. Why not? Why the fuck not? Like, and here we are today.
It's crazy, isn't it?
And it's only been 4 years of training.
Legit, I feel like I've been training for
4 or 5 years of training.
Like, you know, it was like, what's that? 21, like 5 years. So it's 5 years ago when I started. A lot's happened since then.
Absolutely.
So much, but do you remember your first day in the gym?
First day in the gym was very interesting. We did talk. You did bring this up earlier today. You brought it up earlier today. So my mate Bryce that I mentioned earlier about the pumping iron thing. We were training. We trained legs one afternoon. Like that the afternoon he told me to watch the movie or train legs, whatever. And he's like, "Cool, we're gonna come in tomorrow and we're gonna try some of these exercises we saw."
But we saw Arnold do.
We saw Arnold do. He's like, you know, doing these flies or he's, you know,
laying on the flat bench.
Literally, yeah, phenomenal. Everyone knows that one.
Those big ass dumbbells.
Yeah. You go, ooh, that range of motion is scary.
Damn, Ryan Crowley.
Yeah. He's like, yeah, cool. We'll do a chest workout because
that's
who doesn't want a chest like Arnold? Who doesn't want a chest like Arnold? Like, come on.
Biggest chest in the game.
So, you know, we lined up with like bench press. I'm like, oh, can't be that hard. Bench press, can't be that hard. Mind you, if you know me now, I've got a terrible bench. Terrible bench. Here's little, you know, sub 60 kilo Ryan. Unracks just a bar, you know, warm up set, and struggles to do it for 12. It's fucked.
It's crazy because it's like, we post these lifts, how much we're lifting, and, you know, people who have never stepped foot in a gym don't realize, like, they see like, you know, a 250 kilo deadlift. That's a lot of weight. Until they step into a gym and actually pick up a barbell, which is 20 kilos, they're like, well, that's pretty heavy.
Yeah.
Like, so imagine another 230 kilos on top of that. Like, people just can't fathom.
Literally, like, you can't. You really can't. Not unless you know what you're in for.
That's why people who go to the gym get around you, like, get excited as much as you do about these lifts, because they understand how heavy it is, like how much effort it takes, how much time.
Yeah. So, you know, I've got a 20 kilo bench. I struggled so hard, and then we moved to like flies, and I could barely do the 5 kilo dumbbells. Like, it was hard. But we you know how you do like your full body workout. So we did like pretty much just all upper body. We trained chest. We did like curls, shoulder press. You know, we did everything 100%. You could imagine. Abs, back, everything. I got out of bed the next day and I couldn't move. I couldn't move.
Your body's like in shock.
I couldn't move because my muscles had just been worked so hard.
Yeah.
It was so. I can still remember. I went to sit up because I had like a bunk bed.
Yep.
Sharing a room with my brother.
We're on top.
Whatever. Yeah, I was at the top.
Yeah.
I was like this far from the ceiling. I sat up and went, "Oh, this ain't it, cheap." Like I got this far out of my bed and I went, "Oh."
It's funny because like I remember feeling that sore as well. Like after when you first start training, you're like, "I'm never doing that again." And then once you're ready to go again, you're like,
I live for that soreness.
Yeah,
it's
let's
good.
go. Let's do it.
You know, you're getting the pumps, etc. Anyway, what was your first day in the gym like?
My first day, so when I first joined this gym in 2017, it was funny because like I went in and I got the tour of the gym and they have a lot more leg equipment. Because I was just training at home,
you only had upper body.
Upper body was very easy to train, whereas legs, you need a lot more machines.
Definitely.
Like without machines,
if you can't squat or, you know, straight leg deadlift,
yep,
you need machines.
So pretty much, I was like, all right, I'm going to train legs. And I knew what I was going to do. I was like, all right, I've got these exercises and all that. I started doing them. And then I kept finding all these other leg machines. So I decided, I was like, that's it, I'm just using every machine.
Yeah.
And I just went ham on my legs.
Oh, that would have been terrible the next day. Oh
and it was weird because I'd also never trained in front of anyone else before. I was always alone in my shed, like at home.
So then watching me.
Yeah, so there's all these people. And I was like, oh, that's crazy. And then you see other people moving a lot more weight than you. You're like, damn, man, that's mental.
Yeah.
But, you know, after that, it was just every day, just coming here. But it was also like when I first joined here, I was still playing footy. So I had training for that as well on 2 days a week. And I remember it got to the point where I was like, shit, I've got footy training today. I can't go to the gym. Yeah. And that's when I was like, all right, I'm going to give this up and go to the gym. Because I wanted to be at the gym more. So it just made sense to
that's where it
go to the gym.
So you sort of like fell in love. You're like, I like doing this more than football.
Yeah, I was like, I want to do this more.
Football requires more effort.
It was funny because like back in the day, like me and my mate Seth, we trained together and we didn't have any coaching or anything. So it would always come in and like you'd be like, oh, we're going to train chest. You do chest and you're like, you know what? Let's max it on deadlifts as well. And then you'll go do deadlifts, try and pull a PR, and it was just good fun.
It's just good fun.
Where like these days, it's still fun, but it's got a lot more purpose to it.
Absolutely.
You've got a goal in mind.
And at the same time, I sort of going off track a little bit. I don't want to get to an age where I can't, like, you know, you get to that certain age where you just can't move anymore.
Yeah.
I don't want to get to that age and say, well, I didn't really try my best in my younger days.
100%.
You know?
Yeah, you want to see what your body is capable of.
Absolutely. Obviously within safe terms.
Yeah, within reason. Well, within what you want to do.
Of course.
Obviously, like we're thinking of Ronnie Coleman at the moment.
Yeah.
Ronnie, he wanted to push it to that limit. Absolutely. And he did. He took it to that. So the state he's in now, he doesn't care. He's like,
he doesn't care. He's like, I left a legacy. I was strong as fuck. You know,
he did what he wanted to do.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to get to that age and go, I didn't push myself hard enough. There's so much more I could have done.
He did it on his terms.
Yeah, absolutely.
We didn't set a timer either, which is...
No, we didn't, but that's okay.
Cool. I think it's been about 40 minutes.
It is what it is.
Another one. Why is a tennis ball fuzzy?
I don't...
I got this question earlier and it baffled me. I was like, are you crazy?
Why is a tennis ball fuzzy?
I Googled it.
So you know the answer?
I know the answer.
You know the answer? Okay. I'm going to go off... friction. Like, surely because they played on, you know, like a sand / grass /
I was like, this random turf that they play on, so surely it has something to do with the way it acts when it hits the ground. It's not. There's nothing to do with that.
Is it the colour thing? Is it texture? Is it...
It was... I Googled it, and it's because they used to make them out of like this flannel sort of thing. They used to make them out of this flannel stuff. And it was to create drag on the ball. Because apparently without the fuzz, you can hit it a lot quicker. So now I'm very curious. I'm like, all right, okay, if we got tennis ball with any fuzz,
I want to test this.
how hard could we hit it? Like, how quick could it go?
I can understand that.
Yeah. But then it's also like, okay, you got this little fuzz. How can it slow it down that
How
much?
can it really create that much drag?
Surely it's not that much of a difference.
If you're smacking... You see the Oz Open, they're throwing it up.
Yeah, that ball's
serving it
still...
like 120
It's
plus.
still moving.
It moves. How can a little bit of hair slow down something going 100
That
plus
like
k's an
baffled
hour?
me. I was like, are you kidding me?
That is... I thought it would have been like, when it hits the ground
Yeah,
or
something to do with
like...
like...
You can manipulate it a bit
Yeah.
better.
I dare
or-
say it still would do something like that, but the main reason was drag.
Drag, that's interesting.
I reckon Mythbusters surely have done something about this.
We're going to have to look at this. We're going to have to check in next week.
We'll look it up later.
We're going to have to check in next week.
Let
and
us know
see-
next episode.
We'll see what the deal is. Fuck. God damn.
Besides that,
That's pretty good. Wow.
Oh, here
that's
we go.
interesting. That's interesting. Anyway, what do we got?
another ask question.
Ask, yeah.
What
okay.
wine pairs best when eating ass?
What-
I'm not much of a wine drinker.
I can't say I've eaten arse and then had a wine. I've done one or the other.
I have I've gone like to Prues with mates and drank, and we may have consumed some wine. And then later that night, yeah, goon on the clothesline.
Goon of
like that.
Fortune, yeah.
It was a red wine
chestnut.
though, like,
Oh.
and it was strong. So I was like,
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of it.
No.
But that's the only one I've done. So I'm gonna have to be like, okay, red wine. That's my go-to now.
Yeah, like I'm not a big wine drinker. I'm not a big drinker.
Yeah.
Like, as I said, I have never paired the two
Definitely
On the
it's
cards?
bucket list.
on the cards. I would. It's almost like, well, you don't have white wine and cheese, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, you only hear red wine and cheese.
So I mean, is it red wine and ass, or is
So
it
what-
white
what
wine
we
and
have to
ass,
do?
or are we gonna have to put this to test? Or
Yeah, you're gonna have to get a girl, and she's gonna have to be on board with this, obviously.
of course,
And you line up all these different wines, and you have to test it.
like a
Shot of
tasting board.
Legit.
Shit.
And then you need something in between to cleanse your palate.
water.
Water.
Cheese.
Definitely.
Clean
We
it.
we'll put that to the test, and we'll let you know.
That's a good question. I like that.
That was
one.
good.
I like that one.
How many dates until you eat ass? First date.
First.
First.
Am I wrong for saying first? Like,
That's first. That's the test, mate.
I guess that's true.
That's how
if
you know.
you're going for it and they go, oh, what the you go, no, they don't, you chief.
That's how you know if you like a girl. As douchey as that sounds, but you need to know.
It's kind of true. If
It's-
she gets if she
getting
gets
into that.
around, if she gets around it, like doing what you
Yeah,
like
100%.
to do,
If she doesn't like it, it's an instant turn off. Sorry. Like, that's it. It's like, okay,
Yep.
catch you later, sis.
I feel you.
It's like post nut clarity.
that old chestnut.
It's no good.
It's not. It's not. It has its uses though. It saved me a handful of
100%.
times. It saved. I'm like, love this chick.
If any girls actually watch this podcast, if a guy finishes and still wants to talk to you, he's the one.
He's the one. Dave.
Keep him around.
Absolutely.
Honestly, if he doesn't instantly want to leave,
Absolutely. Absolutely. But I can say it has helped. You go, fuck, I love this
That's
chick.
an awesome gauge.
Love this chick. You hit it and you go, nah, this ain't it, chief. I'm disgusting.
When girls are like, oh my god, all he wants is sex, it's because we need to know. We need to find out if we actually like you.
It's kind of like the gateway, Are we going to waste 6 months with you?
Yeah,
Or are we just going to,
100%.
shit.
I'm yet to find such a woman.
Yikes. Shit. What do we got?
I want to sort of steer away from the fitness stuff.
Yeah. Fuck.
What else you got?
I've literally got only 4 questions, which is really annoying. My fans are slacking. My fans are slacking. I absolutely hate it. Let's check it one more time. Here we go. I've got one. Sorry, burp there. So one of my classmates from TAFE.
Oh, nice.
Paddy. He's like,
Hey, Paddy.
high intensity bodybuilding training, versus high volume. I did a workout today with Ash. That was high intensity, but the volume was at a medium to high.
Yeah.
So, you've got like your Mike Mensa, your Dorian Yates. They trained heavy. They trained hard. Like, what are your thoughts? Do you prefer a high intensity workout, or do you prefer like super massive mass amounts of reps and sets, big pumps, or do you just want This is probably your powerlifting talk coming in, but
Legit, that's what I'm thinking.
High intensity, big weights. You know,
I think with powerlifting, the intensity just has to be there.
Yeah,
like because we're not doing massive amounts of volume, especially during peaking. Like the intensity to move these massive weights, it's got to be there.
Yep.
So you do your working sets, and then you go on to your accessory movements, and you may not be doing many sets. So you want to go at them like with heavy weight,
of course,
intensely,
of course. And as you progress to the elite phase, you kind of think about it. You go, I want to get the most out of this set. How do I get the most out of it without doing 6,000 reps? Well, you're obviously going to go heavier.
You're
right?
going to.
You're going to go heavier. You're going to break down that tissue. You're going to. I don't know. Like I prefer. It's a good mix of both.
It is
coming from a bodybuilder.
Depends how you're feeling on the day.
I'm
feeling intense.
I've got
today.
obviously my splits set up. You know, your compounds, and then I'll get into like your accessories and like your pump workouts, and all that stuff, tearing down the muscle rather than just moving the weight. You come into those workouts and go, all right, well, I'm going to move some weight, and it's going to be hard and it's going to be intense, and then you can sort of break up those workouts with, all right, let's either chase a pump or let's move this weight nice and controlled, not swinging it around, but achieve, a nice amount of, blood volume, etc. If that sort of makes sense. Like, it just depends on the freaking day. Let's be honest. And it's obviously what you want, your goals. What do you want to do? If you're a powerlifter, if you just want to be strong, like powerlifting obviously associates with competing. You can be a powerlifter and not compete, I guess, but
I'm glad you brought that up. You can't call yourself a powerlifter until you've done at least one powerlifting comp.
Literally. Yeah.
I know a few people that call themselves powerlifters and they haven't even competed, and it's like,
yikes.
Are you though? Like,
yeah, okay. But you can also like morph into that power building. That's a very popular thing nowadays.
Yeah, legit. Because you got these powerlifters, they compete powerlifting, but they still look good.
Yep.
Which is not easy to achieve. Like,
absolutely not.
Especially with the types of training.
Absolutely not. I don't know what it is overseas, but those boys are built different.
Those Americans, man.
Those boys are built different. Like, they're big, they're strong, and a lot of them look freaking good.
And then you got someone like John Hack. You look at him, you're like, okay, he obviously trains. Like, he's a big boy.
Absolutely.
But he's not, like, aesthetically pleasing or anything, but he's strong as fuck. Like,
yeah.
You just don't,
You're ridiculous.
You wouldn't expect him to be moving the way
ridiculous.
he is.
No, it's absolutely bizarre. What was his pull the other day?
400?
Yeah, it was like a 400 pull for one, and he pulled it like okay, he made it looked hard because it's 400
and that's
fucking...
max, like, but he weighs, I don't know what he weighs, like, but he's not a super heavyweight either. That's what makes it so impressive.
No,
he's the lower weight.
sub 100 kilos, surely.
I think he's around the 100 kilo mark.
Okay, yep.
Which is
either way, but that's ridiculous.
Absolutely
He's
crazy.
pulling 4 times his body weight, 3 times his body weight, whatever the math is. That's absolutely bizarre. But I do prefer... Do you have a preference?
In terms of...
High intensity versus high volume?
I'd prefer high intensity. I feel like I can do a high volume training and walk away and be like, oh yeah, I did some work, whatever. But high intensity, you leave, you're like, fuck, that was good.
Yeah.
I think it's because when you first start training, it's not intense. It is a lot of high volume stuff. Mm-hmm. And then once you start having these better workouts, and it gets more intense, you're like, that was cool. Like,
I also, obviously, I'm not coached, you're coached, so you kind of got to follow a program. I'm not coached, but like with my splits, some workouts are either going to be high intensity or they're going to be high volume.
Yeah.
Like my leg workouts, I'll do my compounds, etc. That's high intensity, pretty low volume. And then I'll get onto like, your leg extension, your leg press, your hack squat. And you'll just fucking go to town on that bitch.
100%.
Like, it just varies on what body part needs the most attention, I guess.
Yeah, legit. You look in the mirror, you're like, these calves are lacking.
Yeah,
5
literally.
years later.
Literally. These calves are still lacking. Like, yeah, we ain't getting big calves. I'm going to get implants or something. But, I look at my legs and I go, nah, I need big quads, And you kind of go back and channel like the basic bodybuilding. Tear down the muscle, fill it with blood. Sleep, eat, it'll repair, it'll get bigger.
100%.
You literally just tear it down to the basics. You go, well, I've got to fill it with blood. So there comes in that volume, and you just fill them up with blood and just get them rock solid.
Like how you've, like a lot of people do, you've got your working sets, but then you've got the sets before it just to fill it with blood.
The feeder sets.
Just a feeder set.
And you've got your back off sets as well, where you can just go to town on it. Like, you work up, do your heavy sets on bench, say, and then you do a back off set, which is like quadruple the amount of reps you did all of those sets previously just to fill the thing with blood. Like
it's weird because I'm a powerlifter. We've got our working sets with our main compound movements,
of course.
And then we go to our accessories, and you've got this set amount of sets, this amount of reps.
Yep.
And I just do it. Just do the weight. I know what weight I want to do, and I just go ham. Yep. And then I see bodybuilders, they're like, all right, we're going to do this, but we're going to do 2 feeder sets beforehand.
Absolutely, yeah.
Just to get blood into it.
Yep. I feel you. It's
It's just a whole different dynamic.
It just depends on your style of training, what you like to do. You know, it all comes down to that on the day. What you want to get out of it. You know, it is what it is.
It is. It's sort of hard because this is a fitness. It's obviously this podcast is highly influenced by fitness. And
absolutely.
That, but I want to talk about anything. We'll talk about anything.
We'll talk.
Nothing's
about
off the
anything.
cards.
No, absolutely not, bro. We just talked about wine and ass eating, like
that's the dream.
And there was no. Absolutely, it is. But there was no hesitation. No hesitation. We'll talk about anything and everything. I think we might end it here. We've talked about a fair bit.
Definitely. We have a lot of editing to do.
That too. We've covered a fair bit. We've got a lot of questions. We could do with some more questions. So his meme page, my personal, his personal. We'll link them. They'll be up on the screen or something like that.
We'll figure something out.
We'll figure it out. But this is us.
This is episode 1.
Episode 1. This is it. This is the start of a journey that we're going to grind and grind and grind.
100%. Yeah, and on that topic, I think 1 episode a week is what we'll aim for.
Yeah, something like that.
You know, if we get more out, we'll get more out. It all depends on our own schedule.
Absolutely.
Quite busy.
Our schedules will soon be pretty much the same.
Hopefully, yeah, that'll good. Line up well.
Yep. And obviously, it just depends on time, but we'll be fine. We can squeeze it in, it'll be good.
But prior to each recording episode, we will put up polls and questions, just, what you want us to talk about, and anything.
Go ham. Put anything in there.
Nothing is off the table.
Put anything in there. If we get bombarded with questions, we might skip it. But there's also a fine line between, monetization and just being
There's a good question, and then there's we ain't going to talk about that.
Literally. If you ask a question about some form of supremacy, ain't it, chief. It ain't it.
We'll talk about anything, but probably nothing political.
Yeah, probably.
We're not really on the...
That ain't it, chief. That ain't it. So, get them submissions in.
It's cool. We're excited.
We've done well. We smashed it. Hell yeah. All right, cool. That's it. We'll.
I wonder how many people are going to watch this.
Well, it's not going to be a lot.
It's not to start with.
It's not going to be a lot.
Look, my meme page took 2 years to hit 10,000 people. So we'll see.
It could vary from. You know what? I'll be happy if we get more than 100 views.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think we've got 50 followers on the page.
Yeah, I reckon we will.
Share it around. There's a lot of people here that we talk to throughout the day.
People watch our podcasts.
We're just gonna milk it. If you see us, we're gonna be like, "Yo, you watch podcast or you listen to 100%. It, or we'll get it up on Spotify, YouTube.
Yeah, we're YouTube, Spotify,
and we're gonna post clips on our channel as well.
We'll suss out Apple Podcasts. I don't know how that works. Yeah, we will suss that though.
I don't know. I'm not sure. We'll figure it out.
But definitely Spotify and YouTube, 2 main ones. Perfect.
Absolutely. Yep.
Wouldn't it be funny if, after all this, the mic wasn't turned on or something?
No, the mic's on.
Or if it wasn't picking up properly?
I'm good. I've been checking. It's recording.
Hello.
We're good.
Cool.
First episode, 1 hour. That's good. That's pretty good. It's
close to
an hour. The recording says just about an hour. If there is someone you want to get on, we're not a big time podcast.
If any locals are watching this and you want to get on, just message us.
Low key, just flick us
a message. We've got already people lined up who we do want to get on.
Absolutely.
Mates and all that.
Absolutely.
And then after that, anyone.
We'll take anything and anything. Everything.
Everything and anything.
Everything and anything. Sorry, I fucked that up. Anything to get this podcast going.
100%.
And it's always good to have that third person because we can rebound off each other.
Yeah.
There's only so much we can do,
Well, see, that's what's good. It's going to be funny because these first few episodes, we're going to filter through as much fitness stuff as we can.
Absolutely.
And then it's
we
just
get
bizarre.
all the fitness stuff out of the way, and then it's just going to get...
It's just going to get weird.
Yeah, okay. Yep. I like the sound of that.
100%. However, first episode, thank you for watching.